Hare Krishna.
Hare
Welcome
Krishna.
all the devotees.
Welcome to all devotees. Now we start today's Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna Dandat Pranam. Now today we con continuing Srimad Bhagwatam Canto 11 chapter 15 description of mystic yoga perfection. Shloka number 15 to 25. Vishnu tri adishware chittam dhar et kal vigrahe sah ishitvam avapnoti kshetragya kshetra chodanam नारायण तुरी आंखें भगवत शब्द शब्दिते मनामय अदात योगी मद्धर्मा वशिताम यात निर्गुणे ब्रह्मणि मयि धारयन् विशदं मनः परमानन्दम् आप्नोति यत्र काम अवसीयते श्वेतद्वीपपतौ चित्तं शुद्धे धर्ममये मयि धारयत् धारयत् श्वेततां याति षड ऊर्मि हि अहित नरः मयि आकाशात्मनि प्राणे मनसा घोषम् उद्वहन् तत्र उपलब्धा भूतानां हंस वाचः शृणोति असौ चक्षुः त्वष्टरि संयोज्ये त्वष्टारमपि चक्षुषि मां तत्र मनसा ध्यायन् विश्वं पश्यति दूरतः मनः मयि संयोज्य देहं तत्तनु वायुना मद्धारणानुभावेन तत्र आत्मा यत्र मयि मनः यदा मन उपादाय यत् यत् रूपं बुभूषति तत् भवेत् मनः रूपं मत योग बलम् आश्रयः परकायं विषण सिद्ध आत्मानं तत्र भावयत् पिंडं हित्वा विषेत प्राणः वायुभूत षट् अग्रिवत् पार्ष्णि अपिड्य गुदं प्राणं हृदु उरु कंठ मूर्धसु आरोप्य ब्रह्मरन्ध्रेण नीत्वा उत्सृज्येत तनुं विहरिष्यन् सुर आक्रीडे मत्सं सत्त्वविभावयेत् विमानेन उपतिष्ठन्ति सत्त्ववृत्ति सुरस्रियः. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One who places his consciousness on Vishnu, the super soul, the prime mover and supreme lord of the external energy consisting of three modes, obtains the mystic perfection of controlling other conditioned souls, their material bodies and their bodily designation. The yogi who places his mind in my form of Narayan, known as the fourth factor, full of all opulences, becomes endued with my nature and thus obtains the mystic perfection called Vashita. One who fixes his pure mind on me in my manifestation, as the impersonal Brahman obtains the greatest happiness, wherein all his desires are completely fulfilled. A human being who concentrates on me as the upholder of religious principles, the personification of purity and the Lord of Shvetadvip obtains the pure existence in which he is freed from the six waves of material disturbance, namely hunger, thirst, decay, death, grief, and illusion. That purified living entity who fixes his mind on the extraordinary sound, vibrations occurring within me as the personified sky and total light air is then able to pursue within the sky the speaking of all living entities, merging one sight into the sun planet and then the sun planet into one's eyes, one should meditate on me as existing within the combination of sun and vision. Thus, one acquires the power to see any distant thing. The yogi who completely absorbs his mind in me and who then makes use of the mind that follows the mind to absorb the material body in me, obtains through the potency of meditation on me the mystic perfection by which his body immediately follows his mind wherever it goes. When the yogi applying his mind in a certain way desires to assume a particular form, that very form immediately appears. Such perfection is possible by absorbing the mind in the shelter of my inconceivable mystic potency, by which I assume innumerable forms. When a perfect yogi desires to enter another's body, he should meditate upon himself within the other body, and then giving up his own gross body, he should enter the other's body through the pathways of air as easily as a bee leaves one flower and flies into another. The yogi who has achieved the mystic perfection called Swachandam Mrityu blocks the anus with the heel of the foot and then lift the soul from the heart to the chest to the neck and finally to the head. Situated within the Brahma Randra, the yogi then gives up his material body and guides the spirit soul to the selected destination. The yogi who desires to enjoy in the pleasure gardens of the demigods should meditate on the purified mode of goodness which is situated within me, and then the heavenly woman generated from the mode of goodness will approach him in airplanes. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We should remember that mystic perfection never enables a living entity to challenge the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. In fact, one cannot obtain such perfection without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Thus, one's controlling power can never disturb the plan of Lord Krishna. One is allowed to exhibit mystic control only within the confines of the law of God. And even a great yogi who transgress the law of God by his so-called mystic opulences will be severely punished. And will cursing Amrish Maharaj. In Bhagavad Gita 7.30, Lord Krishna said, Three sarvam idam jagat mohitam na abhijanati mam ebhya param avyam. Deluded by the three modes of goodness, the whole who am modes and exhaustible. Thus, the Lord is a fourth factor beyond the three modes of nature. According to Srila Veera Raghava Chandra Acharya, Turiya also indicates that the Lord is beyond the three ordinary pages of consciousness, namely wakefulness, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. Bhagavat Shabda Shabdite indicates that the Lord is known as Bhagwan or the possessor of unlimited opulences, physical beauty, fame, knowledge, renunciation, and intelligence. In conclusion, one can obtain the mystic opulences, Vashida or freedom from the modes of nature by meditating upon the Lord as those more.
Lord Krishna states, Trivira Gunamaya Bhavaya Idhi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Na Abhijanati Mam Ebhya Param Avyaya. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am about the modes and inexhaustible. Thus, the Lord is called Turiya, or the fourth factor behind the three modes of nature. According to Srila Veera Raghava Acharya, Failure also indicates that the Lord is beyond the three ordinary phases of consciousness, in wakefulness, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. Bhagavata Shabda Shabdite indicates that the Lord is known as Bhagwan, or the possessor of unlimited opulences, principally beauty, fame, wealth, knowledge, renunciation, and intelligence. In conclusion, one can obtain the mystic opulence, worship, or freedom from the modes of nature by meditating upon the Lord as Turiya, the fourth factor beyond those modes. Everything depends upon the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Paramanand, or the greatest happiness here, indicates the greatest material happiness.
Permanent happiness uh, here indicates the greatest happiness, since it is clearly stated in Srimad Bhagwatam that a devotee has no personal desire or calm. One who has personal desire is certainly within the material world and on the material platform. The greatest happiness is Kama Vashiyata Siddhi, or the perfection of complete anything that one desires. The Lord now gives the process of
Mataji, your voice is not clear. I'll read. The Lord now begins to explain the process for obtaining the 10 secondary mystic perfections derived from the modes of nature. Within the material world, Lord Vishnu, addressed here as Shvetadvipapati, the Lord of Shvetadvip, governs the material mode of goodness and is thus called Shuddha and Dharmamaya, or the personification of purity and piety. By worshipping Lord Vishnu as the personification of material goodness, one obtains the material benediction of freedom from bodily disturbance. Speech occurs.
speech occurs by vibrating air. One meditates on the Supreme Lord as the personified sky, and air thereby acquires the ability to hear that which is vibrated at great distance. The word pran indicates that the Lord is the personified life air of the individual living entities and for the total aggregate of life forms. Ultimately, the pure devotee meditate on the supreme vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Are thus able to hear the speech originating from liberated living entities far beyond the material universe. Any living entity can hear such discussions by reading Srimad Bhagwatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other literatures. One who has properly understood the of God and of perfection, mystic and otherwise, in Krishna consciousness, tad tad
That
anuvayu, tad
Anuvayuna
anuvayuna,
indicates
uh, indicates the particular subtle air that follows the mind. When the yogi merges this air together with the body and mind in Krishna by the potency of meditation on the Lord, his gross material body, like the subtle air, can follow the minds anywhere. This perfection is called Manaha Javaha. This perfection is called Kama Rupa, or the ability to assume any form that one desires, even the form of a demigod. The pure devotees absorb their minds in a particular type of service to Lord Krishna and thus gradually assume a spiritual body for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Thus, anyone who takes to the process of chanting the holy names of Krishna and follows the regulative principles of human life can acquire the ultimate perfection of assuming an eternal spiritual body in the kingdom of God. As air is inhaled into the body through the nostrils and mouth, similarly, the life air of the yogi's subtle body travels through the pathways of external air and easily enters into the body of another person. Just as the bee easily flies from flower to flower, one may admire a heroic man or beautiful woman and desire to experience life within their extraordinary material body. Such opportunities are available through the mystic perfection called perfection. Pure devotees being absorbed in meditation upon the spiritual form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not actually attracted to any material body. Thus, the devotees remain transcendental and satisfied of eternal and the better of Kurukshetra. According to Srila Swami, the term
इसकी
Brahma
पॉपुलर्स ऑफ
and
स्वच्छंद
this
मृत्यु
verse is an example of Upalakshana, or the use of a general term to indicate various concepts. Brahma here indicate the particular destination. The person the yogi's mind in this verse, the word yada, when it indicates that
Let's end the
by the
purpose,
mystic
Mataji.
power
Only
called
25 today.
Thus end the purpose. Now prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam श्री गुरुन् वैष्णवांच श्री रूपं साग्र जातम सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभे च कृपा सिन्धुभे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम. Now we continue the description of mystic yoga perfection. In this chapter, Lord Krishna described the 8 main and principal mystic powers and 10 secondary mystic powers, and how they obtain they describing or they told to Uddhava the procedure by which they may obtain, and what happened after obtaining. All these are describing in this uh, shlokas. Here, Veer Raghava Acharya told about Turiya Avastha. They told that the Lord is beyond 3 modes of nature, good, or
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It seems you are facing a lot of connectivity issues from Mataji's end. So we'll discuss this further today. So we apologize for the connectivity issues and the shlokas which were not audible properly. Though Mataji has tried a lot, but because of connectivity issues, we could not listen to it properly, as you can all see. So till Mataji is able to get back into appropriate connectivity, let us discuss what has been read till now. because we hardly have around 16 minutes more to discuss this important topic. So if Mataji can restart her system and join, we can continue discussions further. So after having seen yesterday about the two, what I'll say, mystic yogas in Prakamya, Krishna is now explaining the other mystic yogas or siddhis. So here Krishna is explaining how it is important to concentrate on him, the super soul, and he is also the prime mover, and he is the one who is controlling the three modes of energy. So if someone is able to have his consciousness on this particular aspect, then that person obtains the mystic perfection, whereby he is able to control the other souls, the material bodies and the bodily designations. So many times we hear such stories that somehow or the other someone feels that he is haunted or he has been controlled upon, and they don't know what is happening, how it is happening. That is something which gets responded here when we are talking about this. So this is that kind of a siddhi which the other person has obtained, through which he is able to control others. Now, even medically, this is possible, and for that, we know the art is sometimes called as hypnotism. But what Krishna is mentioning here is much, much, much more beyond hypnotism and much more controllable as compared to it. Krishna explains that someone who is able to have his mind on the Narayan form of Krishna. Narayan form is also known as the fourth factor, which is full of opulences. Then that yogi becomes endowed with Krishna's nature, and he gets the siddhi known as Vashita. So, Vashita, as the name suggests, you are able to control others. Krishna explains that if we are able to fix our mind in the form of Brahman, then there will be pure eternal happiness. And whatever other desires are completely fulfilled. Even further, a human being who concentrates on Krishna as dharma, that is someone who is upholder of the religious principles, one who is Shuddha, the personification of purity, and as Shvetadvip, the Lord of Shvetadvip, he gets pure existence. So there he is freed from the material disturbance, namely hunger, thirst, decay, death, grief, and illusion. So all these six things. And actually, these things are called as the six waves of material disturbance: hunger, thirst, decay, death, grief, and illusion. And they are known to be the moving factors based on which we see so much of atrocities, problems, and miscommunications happening in this material world, who are found to be the source of all kinds of institutional and constitutional errors which happen, which are the source of our blunders. And the biggest blunder which we have done is coming into this material world itself. And once you are in this material world, these six things are going to trouble you consistently. So if someone is able to get himself purified, as mentioned by Krishna, then that person who is purified and who is able to fix his mind on the various different kinds of sound vibrations occurring within Krishna as personified sky and total life air, then that yogi, that person is able to perceive within the sky the speaking of all living entities. And if someone merging one sight into the Surya and then Surya into one's eye and accordingly meditates on Krishna as existing within the combination of sun and drushti, Surya and drushti, then he is able to get the desire to see distant things. So that is how Dura Drushti, not Durdarshan, Dura Drushti is obtained. You don't require television sets for it, neither internet. You just have to ensure that your sight is merged with two Surya Graha and Surya Graha into your eyes, and then together you consider Krishna as combination of these two, and then over a period of time you will get this Dura Drushti. And the yogi who completely absorbs his mind in Krishna, who makes use of the wind that follows the mind to absorb the material body in Krishna, then that person obtains the potency of meditation on Krishna, by which the body immediately follows his mind wherever it goes. So we have seen Narada Muni can travel anywhere. Even now, while talking, many of you may be thinking Narada Muni and then, oh, those many places he is visiting. If we have had this Siddhi, you would not be sitting in front of this Zoom right now. You would have been traveling and reaching that place. That is this Siddhi. Or you think of someone in America and you would be there. You think of your daughter or your relatives or near dear ones at some place and you would be there. So that is this Siddhi which gets developed. And that is possible when we are able to completely absorb our mind in Krishna and use the wind that follows the mind to absorb the material body in Krishna. In next type of Siddhi, Krishna explains if a person applying his mind in a certain way desires to assume a particular form, that very form immediately appears. And this is possible when that person absorbing the mind in the shelter of inconceivable mystic potency of Krishna, by which he assumes innumerable forms. So if you completely concentrate on Krishna, Krishna Leela, Krishna Kathas, then you can get this kind of a siddhi. And if someone wants to enter another body, then that person should meditate upon himself within the other body. And then giving up his own gross body, he can enter the other body through the pathways of air. And Krishna compares it just like a bee entering a flower and then coming out. So even this is possible. So the moment you see, oh, this body is becoming decayed, oh, out, you can take into a new body. Or you find someone is very beautiful, oh, I want to that beauty. Leave this body and get into that body. But then for that you should have developed this siddhi, which is not so easy to develop. And the yogi, if he has reached and developed the siddhi called as Swachhanda Mrityu, then he can block the anus with the heel of the foot, lift the soul from the heart to the chest to the leg, finally to the head, and situate it within the Brahmarandra, give up material body, and guide the soul to any selected destination. See, even this is possible if you are reaching that level of siddhi. And the yogi who wants to enjoy the pleasure gardens of the demigods, he should meditate upon the purified mode of goodness, which is there in Krishna. And then the damsel generated from the mode of goodness will approach him in different vimanas. So Krishna is describing so many siddhis here. And after listening to them, we may feel, oh, are these really happening? The answer is yes. They are really happening. But then, whether it is Kamarup, whether it is any other siddhi, Parakaya Praveshnam, or whatever it may be, we have to remember that they are all temporary. They do not give us permanent position. So as soon as you have completed utilizing the benefits of these activities, of these siddhis, the pot gets slowly vacated. So your siddhis also vanish. And in any case, you're always subordinate to the Shakti of Maya. And so she keeps you under illusion that you have got something, while practically speaking, you have not received that. And this is one of the reasons why acharyas recommend that we as devotees, we do not want any such siddhi. These siddhis are not at all useful for our devotional practice, because even if we achieve the biggest of the successes on material platform, still you always have to get back into the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi cycle, and then that is painful. And finally, this whole material creation itself is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So why should we go for it? Better to go to a place where there is no dukkha, where there is no anxiety. Vaikuntha, without anxiety. Vai is without and Kunta is anxiety. Or even better, go to a place which is full of happiness, bliss, and permanent. Sachidanand. That is Golok Vrindavan. That is why the desire of the devotees is to go to a higher planetary systems, no, but to go directly to Krishna's abode, so that we don't have to suffer any of these things. We become real complete devotees. Our services are re-established towards Krishna, and Krishna accepts the service as lovingly as he would accept a returning son. And this is also very easily possible. So, though the example of B may have been given to give an idea of how it is possible to simply enter another and come out, but that example is also given by the acharyas to explain that it is easily possible for us, if we desire, to give up this material world and easily enter the Krishna's abode by engaging in Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, as mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Anyabhilashita shunyam dhyana karma dhyanavrutam anukullena Krishna anushīlanam bhaktiruttama. So let us follow these principles of bhakti. Let us improve upon our sadhana, improve upon our chanting, our reading of the scriptures, our associating with the devotees, our taking of prasadam, our engagements in deity services, our engagement in any kind of services to the devotees, and then that is definitely going to bring about the goodness, and from mode of goodness we'll reach the mode of pure goodness, and then see the magic which gets created by Krishna. Automatically everything will be stabilized, we will be successful, we'll overcome all kinds of anxieties, all kinds of problems, and be happy always. We'll not have to worry about anything. So let us accept this worry free existence, coexist with Krishna, and together go back home, back to Godhead to serve Him. That is the objective with which We meet every day successfully at 8 p.m. in the Bhagwatam class, followed by the chanting sessions. Hare Krishna. I'll be sharing the attendance link. Kindly mark your attendance as well as whatever queries you may have. You may note down there and we'll respond to them. And in fact, would request you to ensure that it is a sustained practice, consistent practice, so that Krishna is pleased and we, with improved sadhana, are successful in reaching